Welcome back to the Cows Call video series channel. My name is Mickey Flynn, and today we're going to do a thing called the redraft. So if you're new to the channel or don't really know what a redraft is, what we do is we take a look at a draft class via NFL or NBA, and we just think, okay, these are the selections, how can we make the team better? Like, was there a better selection, or was there did they just make the right selection at the time? But that being said, the last one that we did, I believe, was 2013, which is known for the historic, really bad quarterback class. So today, I decided it'd be fun if we did a 2012 one. 2012 had, it was supposed to be like the year of the quarterback. It was Robert Griffin III, it was Russell Wilson, it was Andrew Luck, Brandon Weeden, all that, and it seems to me only like two of them really panned out. So we're just gonna get right into it. We're gonna see what teams could have done if they made a bad pick, or what if they made the right pick. We'll just say it straight up. So the first pick in 2012 went to the Indianapolis Colts. This was the year Peyton Manning got hurt and they decided to move on from him. Obviously they chose Andrew Luck. There's no better player there, so we're gonna stick it with them. Andrew Luck going first. Second overall, which would be the Redskins. They originally chose RG3, who had a great first year. We all know about him. Kind of dipped in production a lot. But obviously, I think if the Redskins can do it over, it'd be Russell Wilson, quarterback from Seattle and NC State and, Wisconsin. I think that, if you put Wilson on that Redskins team, they possibly have a Super Bowl win right now. I'm not saying that's going to happen, that it would happen, but I'm saying they could have one, and they actually would be the front runners to win that division almost year in and year out. Wilson actually is the biggest jump in the whole entire first round, as he went in the third round to the Seattle Seahawks. The third pick, the Minnesota Vikings took Matt Kalil. Kalil had a very good first year. I think he allowed maybe 2 sacks, but since then he has just been injury prone and just not good. I have them taking Josh Norman specifically. I know in 2012 their biggest need was not corner, but I mean, if you put Josh Norman now, or if you had Josh Norman, right, and then 3 years later, Xavier Rhodes comes in. That's lockdown. You know what I mean? I think that would just be a perfect pairing for the Vikings, and maybe we can see the Purple People Eaters shine again. The fourth pick was the Browns. The original pick was Trent Richardson, who had a very good first year with the Browns. The Browns capitalized and traded him to the Colts for a first-round pick, I believe, and he just fell off. They can do it over again. Obviously, I think the Browns would go with Kirk Cousins, who ended up replacing RG3 and is now on the Minnesota Vikings. With the fifth pick, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they selected Mark Barron, the linebacker, or safety/linebacker. I have them taking Luke Kuechly. This is the first linebacker off the board, and obviously we all know about Luke Kuechly. He is possibly the best middle linebacker in the game right now. You can maybe make a case for Bobby Wagner, but I mean, Kuechly on the Buccaneers would help with their disappointing, defense. With the sixth pick, that would be the Rams. They originally took Michael Brockers, the defensive tackle, who's still on the team. Very good player, don't get me wrong, but I think if they can do it over again, they would go after Fletcher Cox. I mean, you put Fletcher Cox with Aaron Donald. That's just, oh my God. That's without a doubt the best defensive line in the entire league, for probably even the entire league history. You know what I mean? Aaron Donald had, I think, 14 sacks, 15 sacks this year. Fletcher Cox had like 10. Holy crap. And then on top of that, you're not going to be able to run on those guys. With the seventh pick, the Jacksonville Jaguars, they selected Justin Blackmon, the very talented wide receiver from Oklahoma State. Go Poe. Personally, I really think Blackmon could have been something if he just could stay away. He's like a Josh Gordon situation. When he's on the field, he's a beast, you know what I mean? But he's never on the field, and he's actually, I think he retired and he's just done. If you get Chandler Jones, imagine pairing him, Calais Campbell, at the time Malik Jackson. That's pretty damn good, you know what I mean? That's a good defensive line. The Dolphins were up next with the eighth pick. They originally took Ryan Tannehill, who seemed to be getting better every single year, got hurt, and his production has just been going downhill ever since. They actually traded him to the Titans. So now he's a backup quarterback, which I don't think he's very happy about. The Dolphins took Vernon in the 3rd round, so I mean, he's another big jump. And you still get the player that you ended up getting with. The Panthers, which would be 10. The original pick was Luke Kuechly, as we all know, one of the best linebackers in the game. However, I think that the Panthers would also have preferred Harrison Smith. I'm not saying they would prefer him, but I'm saying Harrison Smith in that backfield. You know, we all know that the Panthers need safety help. They've needed it for a long time. They went with Roman Harper, I believe, from the Saints. He's washed up, man. I don't think he's on the team anymore. Imagine putting him with Kurt Coleman at the time. Possibly you win that Super Bowl in Super Bowl 50. The Bills, the original pick was Stephon Gilmore, who's not bad, don't get me wrong. But I think that they would rather have Janoris Jenkins, you know, another lockdown corner. He's on the Giants right now. The Chiefs would be up next with the 12th pick. The original pick was Dontari Poe, who's good, don't get me wrong. Obviously, he's had consistency issues since leaving. But I think that they would rather have the guard, Kelechi Osemele, who went to the Ravens. But, you know, he was very good with the Ravens. And he's actually really even good with the Raiders until, like, last year. So I think that would be a good fit, you know. The Chiefs needed offensive line in 2012, like, badly. And I don't know why they didn't take him, but, you know, Poe was good. Poe was good for them. The Seahawks. In the redraft, I'm taking Bobby Wagner. The original pick was Bruce Irvin. I mean, you end up getting both, you know what I mean? But Bruce Irvin was supposed to be a 2nd-round pick, so when they took him, you know, waves were sent around the NFL. And Irvin had some character issues, and obviously he's good, don't get me wrong, but Bobby Wagner just deserves to go in the 1st round. I think this would be a terrific fit, or obviously it is terrific. I think that they would just have, yeah, it just makes sense. The Cardinals would be next. The original pick was Michael Floyd. The Cardinals in 2012 needed offensive line. They are in the situation that they are right now. They just really needed offensive line, but they went with Michael Floyd. In this draft, I have him taking Cordy Glenn, the offensive tackle for the Bills. I think he's on the Bengals now. But, I mean, that guy has been shooting and, you know, been stable. And, you know, it really would have helped stabilize their line. I think it'd be a good fit there. The Cowboys are on the clock. The original pick was Morris Claiborne out of LSU. You know, he had a good year in 2016, but, I mean, he's not worth that 1st-round pick. The guy that I have him taking is now Los Angeles Chargers cornerback in Casey Hayward. Hayward went to the Packers, I think, in the 2nd round, and he just kind of floated. You know, he was always good, but he wasn't really great. He went to the Chargers. I guess he just got put in the right system, and he just blossomed. You know, now he's one of the best cornerbacks in the league. He's taken a step back, but I still think that he's a good player. The Eagles, they originally took Fletcher Cox, who unfortunately went to the Rams in this redraft. So why not just go with Whitney Merciless from the Texans, you know, out of Syracuse or Illinois. He's a good linebacker, man, you know. He might be like Jordan Hicks type, but obviously I think Merciless is a little bit better than Hicks. I think they'd still be happy with that pick. The Jets, I have them taking Mike Daniels, the defensive end, outside linebacker for the Packers. The original pick was Quentin Coples, who was out of the league. He was out of the league like 2 years ago. The Bengals, the original pick was Dre Kirkpatrick, the cornerback. He's not bad, don't get me wrong, but I think that they would rather have the pick who they ended up taking later in the 1st round, Kevin Zeitler. You know, very good offensive guard. I think he's on the Giants now. He's the highest paid guard, but I know he's good. You know, good pick by the Bengals there. The Chargers were on the clock. They originally took Melvin Ingram. I think that's the perfect fit. You know, the guy's a Pro Bowler, and I think he had like 8 sacks last year. He's a real good tandem with Joey Bosa. The Bears are on the clock. The original pick was Shea McClellan. I think if they could do it over again, they would go with Malik Jackson, the defensive tackle on the Eagles now. I mean, Jackson was a real beast on the Broncos. After the Super Bowl, he went to the Jaguars. Production kind of fell off, but he's still a very good piece that I think the Bears would love to have. You put him and Goldman, that's a pretty damn good defensive tackle front. Next up would be the Tennessee Titans. The original pick was Kendall Wright, who looked to be like a good player for them. Unfortunately, production just fell off, and I don't know why. I have him taking T.Y. Hilton. You know, take him away from the Colts. Hilton is one of the best deep threat wide receivers in the league. Him and Luck just have a special connection, and I think the Titans would love to have had a receiver like that. The Bengals are on the clock again. The original pick was Kevin Zeitler, who you ended up taking about 4 picks earlier. So I think that they would rather go with Vontaze Burfict, who they ended up signing as an undrafted free agent. We all know about Burfict, one of the most dirty players in NFL history, but you can't take away for what he has done. He blazed the wood, and he's a good linebacker. Next up was the Browns. The original pick was Brandon Weeden, who at the time was like 26. I don't know what the Browns are doing, man. You know, if they could do it over, I think they would go with Levante David, the middle linebacker for the Buccaneers, who's really good. Don't get me wrong, Pro Bowler, and I think that the Browns, this is when they didn't know how to draft. So, take Weeden out, you get Levante David, maybe you get Robert Griffin III in the second round or something like that. The Lions are on the clock. They originally took Riley Reiff, who is on the Vikings right now. Didn't have the best of years, but with the Lions, he was a damn good player. Don't get me wrong. However, I think that if they can do it over again, they go with the guard David DeCastro, who's on the Steelers, who I think is a Pro Bowler, and just been like a lock there. The Steelers are up. Obviously, the original pick was David DeCastro, who's now gone. I have him taking Dont'a Hightower. I mean, you steal him away from the Patriots. There's really not much more to say there. He's a great middle linebacker. In my opinion, he is a top 5 middle linebacker in the game. And he seems to come up big in the Super Bowl. So you take him away from the Patriots, and who knows, maybe you guys get another Lombardi. The Broncos are on the clock. The original pick was Derek Wolfe, who, he's good. He's like, when you think Broncos defense, you think Von Miller, blah, blah, blah. But Derek Wolfe has really good production. But I think that the Broncos would rather have a guy who had a really good year, which would be Bruce Irvin. His longevity, maybe not, but in the Super Bowl run, obviously Wolf still had a very good year. But I think that, this is just a better fit. Not much to say. The Texans are on the clock. They originally took Whitney Merciless. I haven't taken Derek Wolfe, so Wolf slides one spot, not that big of a deal. Put him next to J.J. Watt, and then next year you get Clowney. That's pretty damn good. The Patriots are on the clock. They originally took Chandler Jones, who was shot all the way up to where the Jaguars picked. I have them taking Michael Brockers, the defensive tackle, who the Rams took with the 6th pick. Personally, for me, this is just, classic Belichick taking the best player available, that guy is the best player available on my board. The Packers are on the clock. The original pick was Nick Perry. I haven't taken Tashawn Gibson. The Packers have always needed safety help, is what it seems like, so this just makes sense. The Ravens are on the clock. The original pick was Courtney Upshaw, who was a bust. He played defensive end. I think he's out the league now. I haven't taken Brandon Brooks, the guard. He's on the Texans. He's been a Pro Bowler. He's been a stellar, and I think the Ravens would love to have him. The 49ers are on the clock. The original pick was A.J. Jenkins, the wide receiver from Illinois, if I'm not mistaken. Jenkins is out of the league. He was the first player out of the league in this entire draft. He lasted 3 years. I haven't taken Tremaine Johnson, the cornerback, who's on the Jets now, but we all know he's a good player. He gets interceptions. I think that'd be a good thing in the 49ers' little run for a Super Bowl. The Patriots are on the clock. They took Dont'a Hightower. I haven't taken Danny Trevathan. Trevathan's known for putting that nasty hit on Devontae Adams 2 years ago. But, I mean, you can't take away from what this man does. This guy is a leader. He's a forcer. And I think he just to me, it's just a perfect Patriot. So, there's that. The Giants are on the clock. This is the last pick. They originally took David Wilson, the running back. I personally like David Wilson. He just unfortunately had to retire about 4 years ago because of an injury. Now he is a sprinter going for the Olympics. I haven't taken Lamar Miller. Miller has been a top 10 back for like the past 5 years. He's a good player, and I think that it's something that the Giants needed, and I think he just fills a perfect role. So that's it, guys. Make sure you follow us on Instagram, Twitter, Periscope, Facebook. It's just Cal's Call. Very simple. If you're new here, make sure you hit that subscribe button, give this video a like, and that's it for me. Thank you, guys.